Yo, welcome to another episode. It's been a long time coming. Beyond the Veil, episode 6, season 2, y'all. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you learn something. Hope you grow with it. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. T, what's good, brother?
All is well. All is well.
Indeed, indeed. Yo, man, there's been a lot going on. There's been a lot being revealed, you know.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And we are definitely in the information age. For sure.
Indeed, we are. I still hear the music. Okay, okay. Yeah, man. So, man, what's been up? What you been clocking lately in the you know.
Man, I'm just really working out the kinks on the parasite cleanse. I got some new information that told me I got to offset how I do it. Oh, got it on deck. Right. Um, so I figured out you got to offset them. So I'm trying this new parasite cleanse, and I came up with a drink, man, and it was interesting that I saw somebody post about it a couple days later. I take the clove, the cayenne pepper, some lime juice, and some sea salt, and put it all in my drink that I drink in the morning. And somebody posted it online, and they said it was all in one tonic. But that's where I'm at in my development right now, trying to keep it electric, trying to keep this body electric.
It's electric. Boogie Yoogie Yoogie. Yes, indeed it is. Yeah, I'm taking mine right now. It's the second second dose of the day, so to speak. So
Right on, right on. Ooh, that what that not the worm, it's the black walnut hull. That black walnut hull got a strong taste, you know.
indeed, it's not bad though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. I put it in my water. Sometimes I put it in straight under my tongue, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the water right now since we're live.
Right on.
Indeed, man. So, yo, let's get it popping. Let's get this conversation going, yo. So, man, the Hopi Prophecy.
Yes, indeed.
What are your thoughts on this? Like, I've seen some shorts and some lives on, not lives, but some shorts and some other documentary information. It's something that read. I'd read. I can't remember what the book title was, but several many moons ago. And there's some things that I missed, obviously, and it's coming back around to be completely relevant.
Yeah, completely right. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna how I feel about it is this Elon Musk connection with our current red hat wearing individual is an interesting combination in relation to what our elder said in his prophecy. He spoke about the technological advances that would be interconnected to the person with the red hat, which was like, you know, very relative to the course of events that would follow if, he was in the position to fully explore his creative genius. If Elon was put in a position to fully explore his creative genius. So yeah, that was the most interesting connection to that prophecy that I see. And then another interesting fact to note is that these Hopi prophecies have been coming to pass like quite a bit, quite a bit consecutively. Even the wheels and all the things that we talk about, they also talk about within their prophecies and what they're related to. So, you know, they're a pretty reliable source, is what it summates to.
Mm, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes,
man. So
indeed. What? So how do you feel about this prophecy? What do you think?
I think we're seeing it unfold. I think we're seeing it play out.
Hmm.
The elder that spoke on the prophecy of the chief, um, man, heavy, heavy, heavy.
Yeah.
Even as he talked about how our white brothers, he said, would have to pick up on the damage that some of them are doing with the technological advancements. And then, even how the no fly zone, another topic in this discussion that I wish for us to tackle today, what's going on in the skies. He said that there would be people that would rain from the sky and there'd be no stopping, their entrance into this land.
Hmm.
It makes me think, not to jump too far ahead or scurry around in the conversation, but Bill Cooper, man, behold a pale horse, and then all the lecture work that he did and all the interviews that he tried, to get out to the people through, local news media all over the country and even nationwide networks. He spoke about this technology, this 0 point gravity technology that would allow for aircraft to stop and move stop on a dime and change directions instantly. We're seeing some strange phenomenon.
You know what? And in alignment with that, they got those. You know how you used to have jetpack technology where you had to have it in the water, and the water would jetpack you up out the water. Now they
Hmm.
have actual, and they couldn't master the jetpack because it would burn you. You know what I mean? And they couldn't figure out how to do it. Well, recently they figured out those hovercrafts. So now they you can move the hovercraft, and the hovercraft is very easily, you know what I'm saying, movable, and it's almost like a skateboard. They stand on it with the two big blades beneath you, and you able to maneuver at high speeds and high levels of speed. So and they even come out of planes and things like that. So if you had a plane with people with these on it, and they were descending on the country for any reason, it would also fulfill that prophecy. Just looking for a measure by which that prophecy could be fulfilled. There's one option. You know what I mean? To
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, indeed. Um, wow, yeah, it's just interesting seeing how these things are coming into fruition.
hmm
Um, he even dealt with the Kachina. You know, um, today I'm using the the moniker. Let's see, where is it? It should show, but I'm using the moniker. You know, Kachina Oracle. But the Kachina, the men had to dance in order for these revelations or these visions and insights to come.
yeah.
Uh, it's just
Um Interesting to note at the end when the elder was speaking, he spoke of an interconnectedness that we had to the earth, and then he spoke of an interconnectedness we had one to each other as far as electricity. I mean, as far as breath is concerned, and we were connected by breath. It's interesting when you say that what you just said. It as we're going to see as we get into this and we get into the prophecy as the elder spoke it, the very things that we spoke about in some of our earlier shows, as far as what Elon Musk was doing with AI, you know what I mean, and how AI, he spoke of it being a consciousness that was coming into this consciousness.
hmm
It was interesting that the elder said there'll be two roads to choose. And then one, he had a line where it was nature, and another he had a line where it was technology, and it was through the airwaves. And it's interesting, that's an interesting note because that's what we're on the, what do you call it, prefaces of, is
precipice.
making
Precipice. Yep, absolutely.
we're
Yep.
on the prefaces of making the decision between technology that is in unison with nature or technology that is not in unison with nature. I'm not saying Elon Musk has anything to do with that decision, other than he may be the one to implement the overall collective decision that we make as humanity, either to work with nature or work with synthetic
Absolutely.
stuff.
Indeed. Indeed. I mean, and the synthetic is a version of the original, right? Synthetic, we think of synthetic as fake, but synthesis actually brings about a symbiotic relationship of unison. Uh, so you're actually making almost like a 2.0 version of the original. Um, us having been and still being connected as the original AI. There seems to be a lot of fear, and in my opinion, unnecessary fear. Of course, there's always a potential for things to get out of hand with
Mm-hmm.
anything that we work on, that we produce, um, that we take on as a project. You know, it's always been that way historically. That there's a potential wicked use for something that could have all of the earmarks of a great invention.
Indeed.
You know,
And then they have a tendency to weaponize, a lot of things that we've been able to see, especially in Tesla's work. They've been able to weaponize a lot of that stuff. But and in Tesla's work, it was some of the most genius things that could have healed the whole world, provided free electricity to the whole world, provided infinite energy uses to the whole world. But instead, as it currently stands, we're being charged for those things. And if you're charged for something, if you have something that has a high level of energy and you keep charging and charging and charging from it, then it will deplete the energy. And it's interesting to note that every time there's a capitalist decision made with that dead currency as the motivation, we find ourselves further down the de-evolutionary path than we were in ancient times. I mean, in ancient times, some of the farthest, some of the farthest archaeological, mathematical, architectural, um, geometrical, geomancy, magic, any of those that we see, the most highest form of it is in an ancient time where those dead energetics weren't our motivating factor. Those dead capitalist dollars, what I mean, weren't our motivating factor. It was more of a advancement of humanity ideology. And it would be good to see if Elon or Trump decided to go into that direction. That would be something that would be positive to see if they started to do things that were in unison with nature more so than capitalist motivations, because that would be more of the same. Capitalist motivation would be more of the same.
man, I was thinking, let's share a little bit of this Hopi Prophecy video. Um, this will be coming from Soundings Mindful Media. The Hopi Prophecy Two Paths. Thomas Banyakya, Hopi Spiritual Elder. This is in 1972, y'all. This is impressive. You know, being one who has the gift of foresight, dream interpretation, dreaming, lucid dreaming, um, just all kinds of different activations that you know, Happy, aka the Black Sun Shaman, and I both experience and uh, actively operating in. This is just powerful.
It
But
very, 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 and for him to have known so early, but yeah.
it's wild. This is so deep. All right, let's see. Bring it on here. All right, cool.
him, so that we may not destroy ourselves. And since
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a good place to start. Let's see.
repeat again that brother Robert, sister Miriam had said that they were very happy to see many of you let your hair grow. That's in our prophecy too. Sometime we would realize that we have taken the wrong path, and if we realize that we are not taking the right path, the people would let their hair grow. The earth has been torn to pieces, and she's bleeding. How can we cure our mother? Only to follow the spiritual path so that the Great Spirit will cure our Mother Earth. I'm very happy to say that we have shown something here. Whatever we planted here may grow and bear fruit, that we may harvest harvest a good crop at the end as a spiritual crop. Let us not forget the teachings of the Great Spirit. Let us all follow him so that we may not destroy ourselves. We want to deliver ourselves from destructions. I look upon all you people, being holding some religious order, that I would say that you are all my children. I pray for all of the people all over the world so that they may have long lives and happy lives and have abundance of food for all so that we may live in happily.
No cap. I just have to say this. Who does his voice remind you of? I can tell you who it reminds me of.
Elijah Muhammad.
You hit it nailed right on the head, my brother. He sounds almost identical to the messenger of the NOI. Okay. All right. Yeah. Once again, shout out Hopi Prophecy, fair use. We're just reacting to this portion of the video. Two paths, destruction or survival. Thomas Banyakia, Hopi elder.
So I'll repeat again that I'm very happy that you are here with us today. And I would again say that always adhere to the teachings of the Great Spirit, because it's the only remedy to our cause. Since we are here, we are very, very much pleased that we have met you here. The faces of you people who have never been across here before, and we have come.
I'm going to cue it up to the actual prophecy. That was his greetings. Let's see.
Spiritually joined, and together
There we go.
have this land in a real good way, in accordance with the Great Spirit instruction. But there is a danger, he said, because he gave us both sacred symbols, circle. There's no end to this circle, just like there's no end to this life if we follow that. So each one was receiving that same symbol. Our white brother went east, and then he came back. But if he start change that and bring another symbol, we know that he start changing things. He's going to do things in his own way.
So he said he changed the circle to a cross. He said the circle was changed to a cross.
We place everything on this life to follow.
Yeah. You want to expound on
No, I mean, really, all I want to say is a circle is never ending, and it's an eternal cycle. And then before the land masses was broke up, you know what I'm saying? It was one said that they were represented as one land mass, and that one land mass would be a circle. That's interesting. That's all.
Indeed.
This represents village life, religious life, and everyday life of our people to follow. There was no road there yet. But later, our white brother came
And he did bring inventions. He said, and I'm just going to go through this quickly as possible. The inventions he will bring, one of the elders who was the one that called this meeting was Kachina society leader. He was about 80 or 90-year-old man, and he said, after others have told, at 4 days, at the end, he said, my grandfather used to tell me that I may able to maybe get to see some of the inventions that our white brother will bring. When he comes, he's going to bring a carriage that will be pulled by animals, carrying people across our land. He said, I've seen that. That's a wagon, he said. Pretty soon that's going to run by itself, carrying people across our land. And he said, that's automobile. And then pretty soon there's going to be a road in every direction from our mesas. You can see all kind of trails every direction.
I got a
They have
question.
no
I
word
got a question for you, Jay.
pavement.
Shoot.
Is the train company? What's the name of that? Isn't the trains Rockefeller?
Well, you have a few. You have Norfolk and Southern, NSF. You have I should know this. GBX.
It would be interesting in relation to what he's saying. He said that our white brother would bring animals and these different things like that over through by a machine that ran itself. Conductors just the machine runs itself, but the conductor just switches it from track to track and makes sure it makes the switch so nothing goes wrong, but it pretty much runs by itself. It would be interesting to find out if the owners of all these railroad companies were our younger brother.
Remember, the railroads initially were set up by the Chinese.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, man. What did Nas say? The Chinaman built the railroad. The Indians saved the pilgrim, and in return, the pilgrim killed them. Y'all call it Thanksgiving. I call y'all holiday hell day.
Oh, did you hear that Trump was taking out the Haitians and the Indians that you commonly talk about coming the Siberians who came over here and called themselves Indians?
Yeah.
That he's removing them and Haitian immigrants that came in during the time when they had I think it was a flood or some natural disaster over there. He's sending them back, and then next he's moving on to the Siberians who call themselves Indians, because it's a shocker when you hear it, deporting Indians. How can you deport someone who was native to the land? He is not actually deporting someone who was native to the land. He's deporting someone who potentially took all of the reparations, all of the land allotments, and everything that should have gone to actual native people who were not the Siberians. So
Well,
that's an interesting addition to me.
We have to be a little more accurate. They are native, but they are not indigenous. They are not autochthonous. They are native. Most of them came over here around, I want to say 12,000 years ago.
Oh, okay. So then they pretty much.
So they're not indigenous or autochthonous to the land, but they are native. The original or aboriginal people of North America that we descend from allowed them to have squatters' rights.
Mm-hmm.
And in most instances, they gave them hunting and fishing rights over certain portions of the land. But as the influx of immigration took place between the 1700s and 1900s, you had the changing of terminology, even for American. American originally referred to the copper complected to indigo complected peoples of North America. Then it was changed to refer to the children of Europeans that had naturalized or immigrated to North America.
Yeah.
And so then the Native American term did not really enter into referring to an actual people until the 70s, around this time where this elder is given the prophecy. And he's definitely not a Siberian. I'm just saying,
Right.
I have nothing against them. Central
No,
Asians are
nothing against
I don't have
nothing.
anything against any group of people just because of where they're from.
No, not at all. But we should have an opportunity first, and then. But I
Yeah,
mean, in my thought process is the indigenous people should have the first opportunity at their land. Even some people call them first peoples. You know what I
First
mean?
Nation.
They should be first in line.
Yeah, he's definitely the elder speaking here is definitely a First Nations descendant. Um, clearly,
Clear.
he sounds just like the messenger, who is from Sandersville, Georgia. You know, so even when we talk about these political terminologies and their pejorative associated meanings like black, and then what is an African American? Elon Musk is an African American. Okay.
That is a very true. Very true. I'd never thought about that. That's a very true statement.
So things are coming to light, y'all. Just stay tuned. Keep paying attention. But let's see. Yeah, let's see where we leave off with. He was speaking of the
So he
circle.
said, one of these days
Oh,
you go down one of those trails, you're going to see water in front of you. Because in hot summer day, you actually see a mirage of water in front of you. That's the way they describe there'll be paved road all over the land. And pretty soon we want to have those things also. So some of our people start to go that way because Great Spirit warned us not to go too far with that. We can have them, but not just let this go and go up that way. So he said when that happened, then there will be time someone invent something that we will be talking to each other through cobweb. And he shook his head and said, I don't understand what that meant. And then some young fellow told him that that's a telephone line.
and a World Wide Web now.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Just
And I would just like to state that we know full well that this is not the first World Wide Web. There was one that definitely preceded it and even had a Wi-Fi symbol correspondence in ancient Egyptian, what do you call that? Writings on the wall, for lack of better terminology. They did have a Wi-Fi symbol and a representative web. Even African origin stories include Ashanti's web. So, interesting.
let's see here.
And they must know that someday somebody's going to get to the moon. They said that if you ever get to the moon, don't bring anything down from the earth, from the moon down to earth. Because once you do that, then you are interfering with the balance of universe, nature, and everything going to be disrupted. And
They didn't listen.
things happen on earth you cannot control. And even though you have all knowledge and scientific things, you can't. When earthquakes start shaking, you're going to be helpless. When a great wind becomes destructive, you're going to be helpless. This is what's going to happen here. So, but then we want many things there because there
But
are other
not
things
only did
going
they
to be
didn't
developed
listen,
there.
they got
We
kicked off,
began to
never
see
to be go back.
money
Right.
systems develop. We see the new gadgets of all kinds being developed. Then everybody wants to have a new car every year. We all work and strive, and we don't care how we get it. So we fight and we struggle and we do all that, and we forget the spiritual things. We forget ourselves, how we connected to plate, the grass, trees, animals, clouds. We forget all those things, and we
Connected.
struggle and trying to get all this. And
Yeah.
then this is the place where someone will invent what he termed gourd full of ashes. It's going to be, he went like that, and it's going to be so small, but it's going to be so powerful that if ever anytime mankind ever allowed that to fall on the earth someplace, it is going to be so hot that it's going to boil oceans, rivers. It's going to burn everything to ashes.
The atomic bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm trying to find.
He even talked about it made me even think about that recent thing that they had with Japan and all of them nuclear when that nuclear meltdowns they had.
Something that should link us together.
Yeah.
Because now we know that we are all alive. We are all linked
Most
together.
definitely.
Talk about God, talk about Great Spirit, but no one really see him yet. But we know there's something that keeps us alive. And that's why we call it Great Spirit, the spirit within us, linked together with you and grass and animal, birds, everything. It's this air that we're all breathing right now. We're all linked together with that. So we are alive. We are living with this grass, animal, birds, everything. We are all together because we are breathing this. Now, if we pollute this air too much, then we also
Bill Gates
destroying ourselves with what
Mm-hmm.
we invented. Because they said we may come to that at this
Oh,
period
can you
when the
pause it for
sun
2
will rise
seconds?
its blood red someday.
Trump addressed that. He said he was talking about air content, and he said we may later find out that it has something to do with something that's being sprayed into the atmosphere. He didn't address it, but he lightweight
he made
touched on
reference.
it.
He most definitely made reference to.
Yeah.
I heard the same thing recently. That was a
Mm-hmm.
press conference.
Mm-hmm.
The White House. Yep. Absolutely.
That's blood red someday. And I've seen that. It's already polluted so much in the east and west coast that when the sun comes out, you can see it real bright red coming out. Sun, blood red. So this is what uh, they said. Second one will shake us up real hard. Now we are coming to this last one. What we say is a purification of this continent here, because this is where the Hopi say that within this spiritual center, which would cover all this four corner state area, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. For some reason, I don't know whether the United States government knows this or not, but they make that
Listen to this.
states come together in that area where we refer to as a sacred area. Now we have that drawing on a shield.
You heard that right. What we
Yes,
call
and
sacred area.
we'll talk about specific parts after the show, but my goodness, that sounds very familiar. So, meaning to say that all of those states are accessible through a central point.
Correct. And they were already adjoined under not just a concept like a state, but a actual spiritual territory where the air was different than everywhere else.
Now, just momentarily, those buildings that are conductive that we see in ancient development, there was also a story of them being built over and the construction of some of those buildings being changed. So if you did indeed have a energized system back then your air quality and other things would change corresponding to those frequency producing buildings.
Katrina, whichever picked that up, they were to protect that areas every way they can, because that is the very heart of our Mother Earth, the spirit of our people.
I'm gonna go back and play this to see if so the audience can catch this.
With what we invented. Because they said we may come to that at this period when the sun will rise its blood red someday, sets blood red someday. And I've seen that. It's already polluted so much in the east and west coast that when the sun comes out, you can see it real bright red coming out, sun, blood red. So this is what uh, they said. Second one will shake us up real hard. Now we are coming to this last one. What we say is a purification of this continent here, because this is where the Hopi say that within the spiritual center, which would cover all this four corner state area, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. For some reason, I don't know whether the United States government knows this or not, but they make that states come together in that area where we refer to as a sacred area. Now we have that drawing on a shield, the Kachina, whichever picked that up, they were to protect that area every way they
They were
can.
to protect that area. Sorry, they got the word terrors in this caption. This closed captioning is terrible. They're supposed to protect that area at all costs.
Because that is the very heart of our Mother Earth, the spirit of our the purification of this continent here, because this is where the Hopi say that within the spiritual center, which would cover
Spiritual center,
all this four corner
all the
state
four corner
area,
area.
Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. For some reason, I don't know whether the United States government knows this or not, but they make that states come together in that area where we refer to as a sacred area. Now we have that drawing on a shield, the Kachina, whichever picked that up, they were to protect that area every way they can, because that is the very heart of our Mother Earth, the spirit of our people. Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. For some reason, I don't know whether the United States government knows this or not, but they make that states come together in that area where we refer to as a sacred area. Now we have that drawing on a shield, the Kachina, whichever picked that up, they were to protect that area every way they can, because that is the very heart of our Mother Earth.
Did he just tell us where the heart of the earth is?
Now, in relation to energy discussions that we've had before, that would be one of the most powerful places on the planet. And I have seen videos of people standing in the Colorado mountains listening to electric energy in the air. And when they reached their finger up, their biofield connected with it, and there was electrical current visible in the video.
Tesla built things in Colorado Springs, Colorado. He had an entire illuminated area without wires.
The spirit of our people planted in there, and we must not disturb it in
He didn't say America, y'all. He said our planet.
any way. We can go all around it, but if we go too far in this, then we destroy a lot of things in ourselves also. So this is
A lot of things in ourself also will be destroyed.
the time where we're facing, according to Hopi, that we are now coming. A lot of us are going up to a material path.
Interesting to note, when people speak of grays coming back from future situations, they say that they had a problem where they started destroying things within themselves, and they are trying to jump back to gain the genetic information to correct their error. Just an interesting note to add to what's being said here.
Not to mention that there's a 400 square mile radius that is a no-fly zone. People say Roswell, New Mexico, but it's not actually in Roswell. Roswell is just like a general
Jay,
marker
this would be
to gain
such a clear explanation for the the speedometers or whatever they measure magnetically direct planes with going wild. And I'm speaking of the Bermuda Triangle right now, but I'm relating the same technology to what may be the reason for it may not being a fly zone. And then even to the extent that depending on how much power was available at these central points, the above I guess you would say the above air would be majorly affected. So if it was a matter of frequency to go to one level of existence to another, this could be the reason for the missing planes, people jumping time in these planes and showing back up years later. And it would also explain it in ship dealings. When you got ghost ships and you got ships that go out and then come back years later, or they phantomly seen, or they're only seen at specific times. This would also deal with that. If electricity is that strong, because he said heart of the earth, then it has other places where these energies are. They may, that may be a potential explanation for a lot of interdimensional stuff that was not explained.
I would say after having gone to New Mexico, Arizona, and Colorado, the only place I haven't been in the Four Corners is Utah. But Utah is the northern apportionment. Um, I'm hearing that delayed echo again. My bad. But we're seeing there's a lot of phenomenon there, and the more you study and research that the history of peoples in that area, you'll find that even the entrance of different elemental discoveries within the metallic grouping
Mm-hmm.
came through a dimensional doorway that they said was accidentally allowed by one of the Kachina or some of the Kachina. I can't remember if it's one or a few, but it was an accident, and that's also where these other non-hominid giants were able to gain entry into that region. And I mean, there are just giant anomalies and what look like natural phenomenon, but they could be explained if we were looking at larger individuals using natural elements to create art, for example. And art just being one of the functions that some of these structures could represent, like the Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs, the Red
I
Rock.
mean, when you're looking at those rock formations, just in a little scientific approach alone, the density of the dwelling inside of those stone structures, the density and the fact that some frequencies cannot affect you, would definitely give you a definite different evolutionary path, if you want to call it an evolutionary path. But further than that, it would give you a different atmospheric structure. It would give you a different elemental exposure. It would give you different climate. It would give you different density. It would give you different water. It would give you, it would be like going through a portal into another world. You could definitely qualify it as that. And you can look at it two ways. You can look at it as a physical place, or you could look at it as a different dimension, because the difference is the frequency and pressure of the atmosphere and everything there. So giants, what that says is that giants are completely plausible evolutionary pathology of high density caverns and taverns. And just like we have a light source up here, if they have a light source up there, we talked about the heart of the earth earlier on. If they have that light source down there, then there's even plant life and animal life and all other forms of life that would seem to be a foreign planet if we found ourselves there.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing is, there's belief that that is the end of the world, but there's also evidence that that's where the world that we live in could have begun. Put it that way, especially life as far as human beings as we know them. Uh,
Yes.
I'm gonna let's see where we at. He's talking about
We just forgetting the spiritual. Hopi say that within the spiritual center, which would cover all this four corner state area, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah, go down or destroyed because this is what it meant. So we are looking for the spiritual people in these four areas in the last 15, 20 years. We find few elders still holding on, different native people. Their sacred sun dances are reviving now, and ghost dances
What?
are reviving. And their sacred ceremonies in longhouses in New York, Six Nations
Talk to
Air Corps
me.
Confederacy are developing again, reviving. And those in West Coast are developing. All over this continent, Native people are now coming together to hold on to this because that is our instruction. Now our white brothers has come and is about to lead us into that way. So we are now coming back to our white brothers with this message, with this knowledge, because we are facing this last day of purification day. Now our founder is able to go on in this land, and this is what happened. And so we know that something has gone wrong, so that all across the land, our people are start destroying our native people's land and life and religion. Now that's coming to this period,
Mm,
which prophesied it would be the last place. Whether the white brother realize it someday and start correcting and stopping and changing something, because sooner or later purifier is going to come and bring about full cleansing of this earth. Because if you can't do it, even you talk about religious good moral principles, good government or principles, yet you can't stop these things, then these purifiers will have to do it with power and might because Great Spirit gave them all the power to develop. Now,
and he shall purify the sons of Levi as a refiner's fire
Yes.
and a fuller's
Yes.
soap.
And they'll go out with the fire before them that causes destruction, and new city, or like a new heaven behind them coming to be established.
As a refiner's fire and a fuller's soap, that they may offer unto him a sacrifice in righteousness. Wow.
then whoever
Wow.
comes out, he will meet the Great Spirit again because here it I found in Bible and other said that I'm the first here. I have taken care of this land. I'll let you take care of it. I give instruction. I go away for a while. I let you go on your way. Now, if some of you may follow it, some of you may turn away. But after this purification, whoever comes out, then I'll come and meet him again. And this time, this will be a long life again, renewing everything. All living people, no matter what race, will come together as one people, like it was to start from. There will be no more fighting over religion or land will be open so that you will live out there without money system. You will not be required to pay taxes. You cannot grab everything by somebody. Like now, you have certain area for yourself and to let everybody stay away. We deny one another everything, and we be like fruit trees out there, produce things because each one of us has a gift to give freely. Now, after this purification, if I invent something, you can take it and use it. And if you invent something, I can take it. I don't have to struggle to pay and pay to get it. will
Oh,
be
really?
free. So that's the way it's going to be from there on. And they may even speak one language again, but whose language is a question there. Is that because after the Great Spirit is with us, there'll be a new life laid out by the purifier. Purifiers will cleanse this land, and whoever stood fast to this, even there be one person remain up to this point, through that person's faith and courage, or those that come to help him to keep it, that that many people will be saved to come out and meet the Great Spirit. So this Great Spirit, purifier, and the one that's kept the faith will lay out a new plan for all the rest of the people that survive. From there on, there'll be a peace, real peace. From there on. Rattle that we still use in our ceremony. With that person's faith and courage, or those that come to help him to keep it, that that
Sorry.
after many years of knowledge along this line, about 6 or 7 years later, after they told me about these things, I was wondering about who are those people that's going to purify this land? How are they going to do it?
Go.
So they explained to me, we have a gourd rattle that we still use in our ceremony. And that gourd rattle represents the world. On one side, this figure is on the drawing, and another one is on this side. There'll be a gold rattles. We still use them.
A swastika and iron cross. Purifiers. I still hear that delay. It's like a garbled.
No, it shouldn't be. Okay, there we go.
Let's see. Still doing it.
We have a gourd rattle that we still use in our ceremony. And that gourd rattle represents the world. On one side, this figure is on the drawing, and another one is on this side. There'll be a gold rattle. We still use them. The one old man told me, take a look. Whoever have this symbol in this world going to shake us up 2 times. And it just came to me quickly. And I wondered, what nation have shown something similar to this one? Because they will be very intelligent people. They're going to produce many inventions of all types. They're going to be so powerful that they're going to use that to shake us up real hard. And they're going to almost destroy themselves. But later, out of it, a new generation is going to rise. This time, they will know what to do in the right manner, for the right purpose. Then around it, there's a sun symbol. Those people are very intelligent people that have that symbol. They have produced many things, invent many things, and they become powerful. And they also shake us up 2 times. Second time, with the help of another. These two have shook us up 2 times real hard, warning us. And they almost destroy themselves. But out of it, a new generation is coming, stronger, much better equipment, everything, powerful things going to be developed by these 2 people. Then the third one that will finally bring about purification of this land in this continent would be a man with red cap, red hat, or red cloak. Now, we do not know who that nation is or what people, but they say those people will have a large population, and they will also have much scientific inventions of all types. Very powerful nation going to be. So once you start moving, these others 2 will join him with all their power and might. The 3 of them are going to come here quickly together, and nothing can stop them. This time they're going to come right here. They say even they're going to come here so fast they come here for breakfast. Now this is nice clear day today, calm, everything nice. Tomorrow morning maybe we get up at breakfast time, then the whole sky will be darkened.
Thoughts?
Monumentally accurate and pertinent to now. Um, it's going to be interesting to see the unfoldment. Another part of the prophecy that I don't think was mentioned in this part, but I remember an interesting unfoldment to see. He said that the guy will end up making a floating city. That the technological advancement will lead to create the creation of a floating city, and then that he said when you see the floating city go up, he said make sure you know how to live with nature because there may be different types of sicknesses and weather patterns that are bad to follow because of him putting the city up in the air. But they said at that
Uh-oh. You froze up, T.
build and puts it up in the air.
Yeah. You froze up. I actually almost mentioned that a little while ago. I was looking for um, a picture that I had basically designed.
Uh oh,
Hold on.
I can't hear you very well for some reason. I don't know what happened.
Check your audio settings and see if you have a echo cancellation option. Yeah, because it's echoing and feeding back. I have your mic muted. It goes away when your mic is muted. So I don't know why it's occurring, but we'll figure it out hopefully here real soon. He says the sky would be darkened.
Old man said, I don't know what will cause it dark.
Bill Gates in 2019 partnered with some Harvard scientists to darken the sky with metal nanoparticulates. Let's see here. I'm going to show you all this here. Okay, looks like T had to fix some technical difficulties. You all, thank you for your patience. Let's see here. Okay.
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Let's see. Let's see if that's been remedied. No, still hearing it. It's a little lower though. It's not as uh, loud or.
It's gone very, very low. I'm sure I'm trying to fix it right now.
That's all right. So this is a article about Bill Gates. This is in Forbes magazine. This was posted in January the 11th, 2021. But it's a 4-year old article, and it looks like I mean, when you go, not looks like, when you go into the research of it, you'll find that this actually took place in 2019, where they began spraying these metallic reflective nanoparticulates into the sky as a dust to refract or reflect the sun, direct sunlight back out towards what they think is space. Um, but I just wanted to show you all that if you want to check this Forbes magazine article. by Ariel Cohen, Ariel Cohen, Cohen. Uh, Bill Gates venture aims to spray dust into the atmosphere to block the sun. What could go wrong? Anyhow, I will let you all check that out in your own time. And I'm going to bring back up the Hopi Elder just so we can finish out uh, the most juicy parts of this prophecy.
Darkening of the sky. Then you bring about purification of this land in this continent would be a man with red cap, red hat, or red cloak. Now we do not know who that nation is or what people, but they say those people will have a large population and they will also have much scientific inventions of all type. Very powerful nation going to be. So once he start moving, these others too will join him with all their power and might. The three of them going to come here quickly together, and nothing can stop them. This time they're going to come right here. They say even they're going to come here so fast they come here for breakfast. Now this is nice clear day today, calm, everything nice. Leader still remaining to the spiritual into 4 sections. And they're going to look for a leader that still remains, a native leader still remaining to the spiritual path. And to him they will gather people here to him. And they will say, now these people I gave them the religion and the duty to produce things, to invent things, and to become powerful people. When they came here, what have they been doing to you? Now, suppose he was the last chief still remaining in this area. They will ask him, and they will say, well, those people have destroyed my people. They have to take care of and taken everything from my people, land, rivers, and hunting rights, and everything that I use. They just took it away from me against my opposition. Then those that have done that, what we call purification, would be the real wicked people. People who have taken advantage of them in that manner. These figures had no heads on them. That will be their supreme punishment. Because right in daylight, right in public, they're going to weed out those bad people, and they're going to...
You know, the book of Revelation talks about beheaded witnesses. The people that during the Great Tribulation would not be able to die. So these people who had not made the so-called rapture or great catching away, the only way that they would be able to be purified to enter into eternal salvation would be to be beheaded as witnesses for the Christ. Just an interesting observation.
Chop their heads off, they said. And that is what they said will happen. That's first punishment. Then they say, what about these people here? And he will look at them and said, well, at least they make an attempt to help us. They did try to do something to help us, protect us. And they will pull out all those people. They will know you can't get away. They said they'll have some means of catching. Cap and red coat. They will come from Easter. Been persecuted and laughed at. They've been punished and they've been beat up also because they really stood by me. And they will pull out those people and they will be brought to him and they will be respected. That is what they said will happen at this period by the people that has this symbol and the man with red cap and red coat. They will come from east direction, from sun, where the sun rises. And they will come here quickly. And they will have something to paralyze all man-made machinery. Everything come to a standstill. All power will go out. All man-made machinery will come to a standstill. And we will be helpless. And they just come and take it over. And this is what they will happen to by by those people that coming from the east direction.
Did you hear that? He talks about a blackout.
Whoever survives out of that will able to stay with the leader here. Then they say, what about these people? These people have really suffered, been persecuted and laughed at. They've been punished and they've been beat up also because they really stood by me. And they will pull out those people and they will be brought to him and they will be respected. That is what they say will happen at this period by the people that has this symbol and man with red cap and red coat. They will come from east direction, from sun, where the sun rises. And they will come here quickly. And they will have something to paralyze all man-made machinery. Everything come to a standstill. All power will go out. All man-made machinery will come to a standstill.
He just talked about the blackout, y'all. So, yeah. There's a whole nother plan on top of another plan on top of another plan, etc., that is being executed step by step. This is so interesting.
Said there are another people coming from west direction. They'll be coming here for a long time. They're just taking this time. Slowly they're coming and building up more power, more people, more invention, and all that. And they just kept coming. If these people doesn't come here to purify this for the Great Spirit, then this one will come. And they said, when that happens, don't get them on the housetop and watch, because those people are coming from the west direction. There'll be millions of people coming up on the west coast like ants crawling up on the land. And they will have no mercy for anyone. They'll be very cruel and severe. They're not going to ask questions. They're just going to whip everything as they come. They're going looking for someone that will hold on to this spiritual path here. They're going to do that. This is what they said is going to happen. But these two purifiers on both sides are coming to this continent here where we started from, and we came back. We just about to destroy.
He just said,
and they will have no mercy for anyone. They'll be very cruel and severe. They're not going to ask questions. They're just going to whip everything as they come. They're going looking for someone that will hold on to this spiritual path here. They're going to do that. This is what they said is going to happen. But these two purifiers on both sides are coming to this continent here where we started from, and we came back. We just about to destroy ourselves, mess it up.
question. What did the Europeans, one of the titles that they went by when they first came here? One was Pilgrim. Before Colonizer, there was an in between. Do you remember that name?
Mulatto. Are you talking about Mulatto?
No, 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 no.
And man, I don't know what's Puritans. Yeah. My mic is so low. I don't know what's happening right now. Something's happened where you're on a lower mic, and it's very hard to hear you. But I know that everybody else can.
Let's see here.
And then when you play the video, it plays fine, but your voice will go low.
Can you hear me better
Yeah,
now?
I can hear you better now. Yeah.
All right, so I had to change something with my settings. But yes, he's talking about purifiers, right? Pilgrims, Puritans, and then colonizers or colonists. Um, this is very, very, very.
Can't straighten ourselves up, then these purifiers will have to do it. This is what they said will happen here. So whoever comes out, then we will meet the Great Spirit. But if not, if no one listens, then these elders, religious men, will go down into the kiva, go through a ceremony. Then they go over a prayer to four corners of this earth, to the above and to the below, and said, all right, none of these, my children, my people have listened to me or helped me. Now you take over. That's when the cloud will rise like this. Lightning will strike 2 or 3 times all over this land. Like the old people said, if you have light power line in your house now, that power is going to run in and just blow up everything in it. And everything is going to happen when that lightning strikes. And so that's why some of these traditional people don't want power line into their village yet. They don't want to put it in their homes. And then they also don't want running water inside of the house because that's going to be so polluted one of these days. And that's going to be affected in some way when white man or whoever has the power, like the goat full of ashes, which you now we interpret to be hydrogen bomb or atom bomb or whatever bomb they have now invented, so powerful that once that hit someplace, it's going to pollute everything. So these are the things that I explain clearly, and I can't really go into all that.
So here's the thing. He, I'm gonna make a bold statement. He's not talking about Trump as the people with the red hat, even though he may be a representative of one of the three groups of people that have come in by the millions. And he's definitely not talking about just the symbol of the X, because that's the swastika, which he said was the symbol of the sun. So he is talking about people who are of Bharatan or Hindustani ancestry, also known as East Indians, um, and their technology, because they were the inventors of the Vedas, and the original floating cities were built over top uh,
In-
of their
interesting note.
civilizations.
Interesting note. Bill Gates gave all his contracts over to
Of course.
India, so
And they
he
gave the statue of Lord Shiva to the makers of CERN. So you have these three groups of people partnering and have been for a great deal of time. It's becoming more. I mean, we have the Dutch East India Company, the British East India Company. I'm finding in some of my ancestry, though it be majorly
eh,
American Indian, the Dutch and East Indians were married in at certain locations within this landmass with certain
as much
relatives.
as much as I have a little not want to say this, but do want to say it at the same time. I'm kind of excited about the getting people who have came to the country illegally out of the country, because when those contracts were handed over, I saw an influx of a certain demographic of people that those contracts were given to come into the land on vacation and never leave. You know what I mean? Come in by busloads and never leave. You know what I mean? And so it's just interesting that, um, interesting to see the unfoldment of his plan and who it will include. You know what I mean? Because I know that they have neighborhoods and buildings and very expensive, exquisite buildings with marble floors and gyms inside of them for the leadership of these tech companies, and they just like showed up within the last 2 to 5 years at that level. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we hope that you have gathered some insight here. We didn't really do any deeper diving. I think the video speaks for itself. I don't think it's open for blanket or generalized interpretation. That's my opinion. I offer that humbly to the audience and whoever comes within earshot or view of this video. I do not express the opinions or ideas of my counterpart, my partner in podcasting and delineating this information. He may have a different take, but I will boldly say this isn't specifically about Trump. However, I think he is included in the overall expression of what is to come and whom it will come through. And same with Elon
Indeed.
Musk. He is of the people spoken of. He is one of them, and he is a. They're both
He
very powerful.
interestingly enough, he said that they were going pretty much that they were going to ruffle the feathers of the ones who are the real the ones who actually bring about the restoration and bring about that thing like that. They're going to agitate them into doing it.
Correct,
You
and
know,
they're and then once they're agitated into action, instead of fighting, they're supposed to convince them to change their ways. They're supposed to
right.
come together, and that's how the great peace would occur. So I look at the message where it could be connected to Trump is peace through strength. People might think that's a load of malarkey. I don't have any judgment for your opinion. I accept your right to hold that. And I also do not speak for him, and I don't have any inside knowledge from any personal type of relationship. I have
Wise,
only
I know you get your information from the astral realm. I know you've been watching those videos on how to remote view, and you've been watching them, Jay. No, I quit. Okay, I'm
I don't need those videos,
done.
ironically. But they're cool. It'd be cool to have an insight into explaining certain things through proper verbiage to other folks, but nonetheless, let's give let's give them a chance. It's not only up to them. I think the election results actually spoke to that. And I think that we're internally angry with one another and we need to let that stuff go. Uh, because just because a person votes for an individual that's saying one thing and ends up doing another doesn't mean that they deserve the outcome that comes with voting for that individual. Or else we could say that the last 12 years in the blue that we spent, that we deserved an economic crisis of earth shattering proportions and a decline in the ability to enjoy luxuries that we once could purchase with very little effort.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
know, and it's not to point the finger because two wings of the same bird, right? Red
That
and
yeah,
blue,
that's what I was gonna,
red and blue.
ultimately say at the is
But
that it's the same house.
this prophetic time, this prophetic era, dispensation is what is of interest to me most. How this will play out, we don't necessarily have the details blow for blow, but what we can look at is the potential, what's being discussed, what's actually being done as opposed to what's being discussed, who it affects most and why, our sense of fairness and justice quantified. You can't call a man anti you if he let 22,000 people who look just like you out of a position of incarceration. Do you think that he released them to send them somewhere else, like Africa, for example? I mean, and then let's ask ourselves things like if we believed the story and narratives that we were given through the educational slash programming system, if we were sold by people from one land, why did they never come to retrieve us once they found out the mistreatment that we were suffering? And then how do we explain some of our ancestors' involvement in the suffering of certain others unknowingly as well to make a profit once they accepted a certain system of monetary energetic activation? These things all have to play out. They all come with some karmic indebtedness. Some debts will be paid in full. Some people believe Jesus paid it all. I'm not here to take that away from you. I'm just simply saying, let's consider what is sane. Let's consider what is not the result of a disconnect, wishful thinking, or passing the buck.
And I mean, me as a shaman, I guess my final note to this particular video would be a lot of us were moved from coastal shores, and there is piezoelectric value in the sand and in the water that helps to energize your entire system. A lot of us vision for our life ends by a beach. We think that we made it if we get to the beach, and we think that life is just it if we finally got there. This is all because of the piezoelectric qualities that are available from that shoreline activity. This is why the predominant amount of rituals within ancient civilizations were carried out by the rivers and by the ocean shores. This is the reason for that. And this is also the reason that indigenous people or aboriginal people or first people were driven away from the shorelines and sent through trails of tears and kept within city walls so that they don't get back to those shorelines and power up. So me as a shaman, I say go back, power up.
Indeed. I concur with that. Continue to power up, continue to keep one another uplifted. I mean, things always seem to get worse before they get better. I think it's up to us to determine how our countenance, how our state of mind, and even our perceived state of being is maintained during those rough seasons. It gets greater later, and
Oh, does it? Oh, does it?
thank you for joining and supporting us. Like, share, and subscribe. Join our locals at www dot what is it? Oh, rumble.com/ deeper dives dialogue UNL, and join our locals. You can support us by giving donations. Uh, Also visit www.blackshaman.com. Get your health items of various sorts, help with your energetic recharges and your maintenance of your immune system. It's very imperative these days, more than ever, I would say. Um, all right, T. Appreciate you, brother, as always. Um, and yeah, audience, like, share, and subscribe.
All
Join
right, Pete.
us. Join us live next time when you can.
All right, peace and love,
Peace
everyone.
and love.